All right. So, like about 2 minutes ago, I had a conversation with someone from Discord, and they told me to just to do a podcast, just talk about my thoughts, because I mean, what else am I going to do with my life? To just like give this whole thing a shot. So I'm just gonna give this whole thing a shot. I don't know what this is gonna turn into, how this is gonna work out. I mean, we literally just talked about it. I'm instantly just like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna do it. So I'm recording it now. Haven't really thought much about it. Um, all I know is that I'm probably just gonna do it like this. Like I just start recording randomly whenever I have anything to say, any thoughts, anything positive, anything negative. Maybe even if I'm just randomly bored, like whenever anything comes to mind, I'm probably just gonna record this. And then I'll probably just cut it together at some point. I don't know if I'm gonna like do it after certain numbers of days, a certain amount of content, certain numbers of hours, minutes, uh, or whatever. But I'm probably just gonna, cut stuff together like this, like say stuff now, and then a while later I'll say some other stuff, and then yeah, that's gonna be that. And yeah, yeah, I'm Freak. Uh, I don't know who's gonna listen to this, but nice to meet you. I'm Freak. That's all you need to know for now. That's it. Bye. It probably makes the most sense to start this with like talking about what I myself am hoping to get out of this, what my goals are in general, that sort of thing. Um, which is something that does take some amount of conscious effort to put into words. So I'm not gonna do it now. I'm just gonna. All right. Um, yeah, it's been a week. Uh, um, so I completely forgot about this for like 4 or 5 days. And then after that, I just kind of like didn't really want to have to do it. Uh, because it's like, it's scary and like I feel like I have to do it properly and not just completely stupid ramble on, like have to say something of some value or something, which isn't really the point of this. I mean, ideally it would be, but it's mostly just to like do something and get my thoughts out and stuff like that in general and think about stuff. Yeah. So what I really should do is just talk and not really worry about it so much. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna. I mean, it's probably not. I'm gonna try words. Anyways, I'm in the middle of eating dinner, so I have to do it later. All right. I'll stop pointing out the time. Let's just pretend that I. Yeah. Anyways, so what I should be talking about, or I don't have to talk about anything specific, I guess. But what I'm gonna talk about is this whole thing, like, why am I even doing this in the first place? So why am I even doing this in the first place? Well, I guess mostly just to have something to do. I mean, that's it. So I talked with someone on Discord, like I said, and they suggested to do this, to like make a podcast, just record my thoughts or whatever, just to do something as opposed to doing nothing. Um, yeah, like I don't know if I'm ever gonna say anything even remotely interesting. In general, it's probably kind of hard to tell for yourself what might be interesting to other people. And I mean, again, this isn't really the point. This is just to like if I make it a goal to like even just remotely try to make this not be shit, then I'm just not gonna do it. Uh, I mean, I've already, Anyways, I'm gonna do this now. I am doing this now. I don't really know what I should talk about though, because again, I don't really have much of a goal with this. I guess I could just like, keep saying words and just string sentences along to just kind of store while I'm trying to think of something. Um, Not sure for how long that's gonna work, but I guess I'm already sick of it, so I might stop doing it now. I'm getting really nervous about this. I really shouldn't be. I mean, it's just like some random bullshit. It's probably like no one or almost no one is gonna listen to it. maybe someone sometime somewhere will, and then that's that. And like, it doesn't really make a difference, but it does make me nervous just thinking about that. Um, it probably wouldn't make me as nervous if I at least would put more effort in or something, but it's like again, and then I'm just not going to do it because I don't really care. It's just like do something, like anything. Um, I would much rather like do something I actually care about, but I don't care about things. So I'm just sitting here like talking about nothing. Uh, I was gonna say wasting my time and wasting my life away, but that's what I'm doing anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. It's just kind of like, yeah, this is annoying. Um, I don't really know how to stall this any longer. Um, like I really would like to just kind of stop this now and then think of something to say and then go back to the recording. But I'm also kind of worried that if I if I stop now, I'm gonna stop for another week again. I'm just gonna kind of like sit here, think about something, then maybe just put on some YouTube. Maybe this will help me think of something. Then sit here for another 2, 3 hours just watching stuff. Then maybe I should have gone to sleep like 5, 6 hours ago. Who knows? And I just don't do anything. Um, I don't even know like how long I want this to be. Like even just for now, like how long I want this episode to be is one thing, but I also don't even know how long I want this recording to be right now. 10, 20, 30 minutes, I don't know. Even doing it another 2 minutes seems like a bit of a high order, but like, I've already been doing it probably for, I don't know, oh there, 3.5 minutes. That's something. Yeah. So in terms of like words that exist, I know a few, so I can probably keep talking. Um, let's just talk about this thing. Like last time when I recorded, like right before that, I had watched a video. Healthy Gamer, GG, Dr. K, whatever. Watched one of his newer videos. I don't remember what the video was about, but I did take like notes, 2 sentences or something. It was something about FOMO or something missing out, and it made me think about me being just really fucking jealous all the time. Uh, of people caring about things, which is like most people care about things. And it's not like I literally don't care about anything, but just like the thing that bothers me the most and makes me the most jealous is like people, like for example, watching stuff or reading stuff and so on, and just enjoying it and just being like, oh yeah, there's all this classic shit that's like all this popular shit, all this classic shit, whatever the fuck. There are lists upon lists of stuff that they know where it's like, oh yeah, lots of people say that's good. I can probably watch all of that, try it all out, and there's probably gonna be like more than 10% stuff that I actually like. For most people, it's probably gonna be closer to 50%, maybe even above that. And it almost kind of makes me a little bit angry. Like I'm not really the kind of person to get upset about that shit. Like, oh, other people have stuff that I don't have. Oh, now I'm upset. But I do get really fucking jealous about this. Like this to the point that it actually makes me mad. The people can like just go, oh yeah, there's like all this stuff out there, and I can just watch it or read it or do whatever the fuck, and then have a good time, enjoy it. Like, oh, like it's not that hard to find like a 7 out of 10. Sometimes I even find an 8 or 9 out of 10. Um, I don't know what a 10 out of 10 is. Where do you find that? What is that? Um, I mean, the whole fucking score wankery doesn't really matter. It's just like an easy way to just kind of put into words that I don't really find stuff that I actually like all that much. Like, let's say a 7 is something that I find like genuinely enjoyable, worthwhile watching, whatever the fuck. It's just, yeah, it's a good time, Like, I don't really have to force myself to do it. I might have to force myself if I'm not really in the mood to like start or put in some effort. Like, if it's like watching an anime or something, then I probably have to like get my ass up and then like put on something and watch it. Like as soon as I start watching, if I like it that much, I would give it a 7. Then it's easy. But that's really rare that I find something I like that much. And I always get jealous because I get the feeling that for most people it's like, oh yeah, they might have to try a few things here and there. They won't like everything, of course, but it's not gonna take that long. Like if they watch a few things, like 1 or 2 things a day, then it might take a few days, and then they got something nice. Maybe even less. For me, it's more like, oh, if I like watch 20, 30, 40, 50 things, maybe I'll find something that I kind of like. It's not that hard to find something that would give like a six, where it's like, oh yeah, I mean, if I really force myself, it's not too hard. It's maybe even kind of enjoyable parts of it or something. It's not that hard to find actually, which is kind of weird. Like it's actually sometimes easier to find like something that would give a five or a six and something that would give like a four or three or whatever. Um, but finding something that I like actually feel like, oh yeah, this is nice. Like I wouldn't immediately forget about it, and then like 5 months later, oh yeah, I was watching the show. I guess who cares? I stopped, whatever. And more like, oh yeah, I right. This few days ago, I watched this thing. Let's keep watching or whatever. If I take a break of it or whatever. If I like it that much, I would give it a seven. I would probably just binge the entire thing immediately. Like it's not even a case of not really being able to focus all that well. Like my focus, attention, stuff words is fucking dog shit in general. I can't focus on shit at all. But I don't really have a problem if I find like a book, for example, that I think is kind of neat to just like read 1,000 pages in a week, something like that. Like it's not like I'm doing anything else. So time-wise, it's not a problem, and focus-wise, it's not really a problem either. It's just like, yeah, this is nice. Like I'm having a good time. It's more like getting to that point requires like trying dozens upon dozens of things, and I just get upset. And in theory, I would have the time to find it. It just doesn't really feel worth not even just the time, but the fucking effort. It's just like the more I like try and find stuff, try to find stuff, try out more and more stuff, I just get more and more pissed off. I just get more and more frustrated at fucking being alive, just in general. Because ultimately it's like, well, I can like spend all my time just looking for stuff, trying to find something that I enjoy consuming, and then eventually, oh yeah, nice, nice. Then I like read a few thousand pages. Maybe it's really long, and then that's nice, and then eventually it's over, and it's like, oh yeah, now what? And like ultimately, it's just like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. But at the same time, it's also if that's all I'm doing, that doesn't solve the fucking problem. I mean, I'm doing this podcast right now. This is like not really to solve the problem, but to like, yeah, do something about it in any way, to like actually do stuff, put effort into things, and then get something out of it, I suppose. I mean, I don't really know what that's like. Like it's very rare for me to like put effort into something and then like, oh yeah, I enjoy that, and then yeah, nice, nice, that's worthwhile. That's really fucking rare. And then on the other hand, the whole thing of just, oh yeah, I just put effort into something not because it's intrinsically enjoyable, but because I get something out of it. I mean, I mean, what is that? That's not even a thing. That's not real. I mean, there's like, stuff like, yeah, oh yeah, you exercise so that your body doesn't go to shit, doesn't completely deteriorate, and then you won't feel worse. But like, I don't really feel better from it. It's just like, yeah, I mean, life. It's like, it's shit, but like now it's less shit, I guess. I don't I don't get this whole feeling that a lot of people have where it's like, oh, I put effort into something and then, ooh, now I'm like I don't know, yeah, I did it. Like I like sometimes to play like video games where I just get my ass handed to me over and over again. And it can be fun in the moment. It can be a fun process if the gameplay is fun. But this whole sense of like persevering and then, oh yeah, I did it. I don't think I ever felt that in my entire fucking life in any context, like not just games, but just, like with games, sometimes again, it's fun to get my ass kicked and then play the game and keep going. But if I eventually like beat the boss or whatever, it's just like an hour. Well, now it's over. That's kind of disappointing. I kind of wanted to keep going for a while. Of it has been going for like let's say a week or something, several hours a day, just getting my ass kicked over and over again. And at that point, I'm just glad that it's fucking over. And I feel relief, but I don't get this like dopamine rush or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, nice. Now I did it. Now this feels great. This was worth it. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, yeah, whatever. I guess it's over, and then it's over. It's over. And that's just how I feel about things in general. Like it's just you do stuff and then you don't do stuff and then yeah, that's just that. It's just over and then I mean it doesn't really make a difference if you're doing it or not. I put an effort into something and then it's just a fucking pain and then I don't really feel like I get anything out of that and then that's just that. And then alternatively I don't put effort into anything and I just sit around and lose my fucking mind and just kind of feel like I mean, on some level, this definitely should be worse. I'm just sitting around doing nothing, and everyone always talks about it. Like, yeah, oh, yeah, you gotta do things. Otherwise, life just, And I mean, yeah, life just, it just sucks. But then I don't really feel any different. It's like if I put effort into stuff more often than not, if anything, just kind of feel worse because I just feel like I just wasted all this effort. Like it doesn't really make a difference because I'm not doing anything. It's not wasting time. It's just wasting effort. And oh, I had to force myself to do this thing. It's just frustrating and annoying. And then there's not really a downside to doing it other than that. So I should just, I guess, do random fucking stuff. And then I do random fucking stuff, whatever. And it's just like, no, this actually makes this whole being alive thing a lot worse. Because not even because it's that much of a fucking nightmare or whatever, or I can't handle it. It's like, oh, now I'm really fucking depressed. It's just like, no, I just don't care. Why did I do this to myself? That's just how I feel about things in general. If I like put effort in, um, so I don't, and then I just like, yeah, like you would think things would get worse, but I guess they can't really get any worse. And it's not even on a level where it's like I'm really fucking depressed and I'm miserable and I can't handle it. It's just like this is just boring and just sucks. And it's just like some like logical part of my mind just goes kind of like, well, maybe I should kill myself. But like, I'm not gonna do it because like at the same time, it's also like I can't just keep living. There isn't much of a downside to that either. It's like it like sucks, but I can just like, I can just wait. I will die eventually. It's not really my responsibility. I can just wait. I don't have to deal with that. Um, Time can just take care of it. And it's always like, maybe things will get better. Maybe it won't be shit anymore. So you just can keep going. Just keep going, and that's that. So that's what I've been doing for like the last 30, 40, 50 fucking years. Not that I've been alive for that long. I'm 23, by the way. Um, and life fucking sucks. Just in general. I don't know if there was ever really a time where I didn't feel this way in my life. Like it was less severe before I went to school, probably. And then in school, things were like shit and got worse over time. But probably since I was like 14 or something, it was just like kind of like, why am I still here? Like when I was 11 or so, I was like, yeah, I should kill myself. But I was watching One Piece, and One Piece is really long, so I felt like, yeah, I'm enjoying watching One Piece. I'm gonna wait until One Piece is finished. That was like what 15 fucking years ago or something. Wait, 23. Oh, whatever. I was 11. It was 12 fucking years ago. Still not finished. I'm not even watching it anymore. Uh, but it's this thing I think for a lot of people. Oh yeah, I'm watching this like really long thing. This is One Piece for like no, I like One Piece. I'm gonna stick around until it's finished. Still not finished. Oh well, too bad. Um, yeah, I've been recording for almost 15 minutes. That's almost kind of something. Um, yeah, life. I guess I'm gonna go back to like I mean I was already rambling the whole time. I'm gonna go back to just kind of like stalling because I feel like I've said enough about what I said just now. I don't want to repeat myself constantly, and it already feels like I am repeating myself because this is all stuff I've not only like talked to myself in my mind about, just thought about for months and years over and over again and again, so that I just just kind of repeated it over and over and yeah, I'm doing it right now. Not only have I've been doing that hundreds of times, but I've also like a dozen times also talked about these things to different people online. So just kind of like, should I even be saying this right now? But it's like I'm recording it right now. I'm recording it for the first time, so I might as well uh, say all this shit again. Um, I don't know if I just heard someone. I hope I'm not too loud. It's probably fine. It's in the middle of the night, but I'm not that loud, I think. Like I feel like I'm being pretty loud, but I think my voice is very quiet in general. So even though I'm loud for my standards, I'm probably still kind of quiet. Actually, I'm not really used to talking that much and that loud. I'm gonna drink something. Um, yeah, talking. That's the thing I do. I mean, I'm much more used to talking at this point than I used to be like 1 or 2 years ago when I first like started to be active on Discord. Like I was not only not really used to talking to strangers or whatever, I just didn't really talk at all. Like I barely talked to my family. Not that I Well, I was gonna say not that I avoided them, but I kind of did avoid them. Not in particular, like I was afraid or whatever. It was just like, people. I don't like people. Have fun, guys. You can like hang out downstairs or whatever. I don't care. Uh, just sitting in my room all day. I'm doing nothing but losing my mind instead of going downstairs and being annoyed. Like just sitting in my room all day doing nothing, not talking to anyone is probably well, it's obviously not very healthy, not good, pretty bad. But it was still always like the better option between like that and like talking to my family because it's just boring and annoying. And that's the thing, I don't really know how to fucking talk to people. Like not even in terms of like keeping a conversation going. Like over the last 2 years or so, I have learned how to do that, which probably like only took like 4 or 5 months or something. Then oh yeah, that's how that works. Okay. Not that I'm good at it, but like I can keep a conversation going, especially because most people are fine with like doing the bulk of the talking, and they just keep ranting at you, and you're like, yeah, well, I'm gonna say I'm pretending I'm paying attention. I'm trying to pay attention, let's say. I'm not very good at it, but I'm paying enough attention that it's probably fine for them. I don't give a shit about what they're saying. I don't give a shit about what anyone is ever saying. And if they ask me about it, I tell them exactly that, and then we just keep talking. That's how it usually goes when I'm having conversations. Like when I'm talking the most, it's usually me talking about how I don't really know how to talk. And it's just like at this point, again, I can keep a conversation going. Just like you let them rant at you for 20 minutes, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, I've been ranting for 20 minutes. You say something," and then you like just try to remember, okay, what the fuck did they say? Is there anything they say that I can like make a comment on? And then you just do that. You just make one or two random comments, and they're like, "Oh yeah," yeah. And then they get right back to ranting. It's like it's especially always funny if you're like talking to someone new, and it's one of those people who are like very introverted and they don't talk much and then and I'm like I don't know 6 7 levels beyond them, and it's like they're getting really confused because they're like normally they're doing that, they're like listening to other people talk and talk and talk, and it's and it's like the other person keeps talking and they're just like listening, maybe giving a comment here and there, but they're really just sitting there and they're just listening, and they're not really used to like speaking their own mind, they're just listening, they're not talking. But then they're sitting there with me and they're like ranting at me for like 2 hours straight, and they're like, "What the fuck is happening? I'm not like this. What is going on?" Because I will just sit there. I just will say nothing. Like, um, usually it's like at this point at least that I just don't give a shit anymore. I just say nothing, and then people just leave. It's like, "Oh, actually, I'm busy. Bye bye." And then yeah, sure, you're busy. Of course. I mean, that's fine. I'm not bothered by it. It's just like I don't care anymore. I don't know how to like give a shit about a conversation, so I just don't try to keep it going. If the person is fine with like ranting at me on their own, I will listen for an hour, for 2 hours. I might think like, this is actually annoying. I kind of want to leave, but I'm just like, who cares? I'm not doing this all the time. I might as well just sit here and listen to them. This counts for social interaction, I suppose. That's healthy, I guess. So I just kind of sit there and wait. um, but more often than not, they don't do that. They just especially if it's people that are less introverted, I suppose. Although I guess that at this point it has more to do with how annoyed they are by that. Because again, I just won't say anything. Like if most of the time, if I just even just say a few sentences back, then I can string them along for an hour or two if they have the time. Then they're definitely willing to do that usually. Uh, but at this point, I just don't care anymore, so I don't do anything. Um, and I mean, right now I'm the ranting person, and like that's the level we're talking about. Like, there are people that are like talking to, let's say, average people, like in terms of how introverted they are, introvert, extrovert, whatever the fuck. They're just like, yeah, just normal, whatever. And then you get the more introverted people, and they're just saying nothing, and occasionally saying maybe a bit, keep the conversation going. And then you got me talking to those people, and I can string those along for a few hours, and am basically saying nothing, and they're talking and talking and talking. And for me to get to the point where I'm talking and talking, I have to actually like literally talk into a fucking microphone where no one can actually respond, and I'm like responsible for keeping the conversation, the fucking monologue going. That's the point where I will start talking. And it's not like I have literally nothing to say. I've spent all my fucking life just sitting around thinking about shit, so there's stuff I can talk about. But like I said, it's like, is any of this even like remotely interesting? I already repeated this stuff like hundreds of times. Like, yeah. Well, that's where I'm at with this whole talking thing. I'm probably gonna say more about talking at some other point, but let's maybe talk about something else. Let's maybe keep things a bit varied and like let it not get too boring. Like maybe someone is still listening to this, and then maybe I can string them along to listen about this. One time I was like on fucking Discord, I was arguing with someone, and we were having very different views. Like we were having on a very fundamental level. We were like disagreeing on life and all kinds of shit. We were just kind of ranting at each other about nothing. Like it was in the text chat. I don't quite remember what the topic was, but it was like about giving a shit about life and being indebted to your parents and stuff. And then, like in his culture, this is much more common than in my culture, which my culture is just me sitting in my room and not giving a shit about anything. So I don't care either way. But we were just talking about stuff like that, and like it was actually kind of nice. Like that was actually a conversation that I did enjoy. um, I'm mentioning it because it was like it went back and forth for like almost an hour, and we were not really getting anywhere with it. We were making very slow progress, but we were just kind of like one person was saying something and the other person was kind of clarifying. Okay, is this really what you mean, or am I misunderstanding you? Well, I was mostly doing it. The other guy was just kind of being a dick. I mean, I was being a dick in a different way because I like didn't really give a shit and just kept wasting his time. But I was having fun with the conversation. Um, but he was just kind of like ignoring parts of what I was saying, and I don't think he was actually doing it on purpose. He was just like getting really mad at me, and then I was getting mad at him for ignoring me, the points I was actually making, and like putting words in my mouth. But it wasn't the sort of thing where he was like trying to have his gotcha moment or whatever. Ah, gotcha, you like were inconsistent or you're stupid or whatever. It was just like really like genuinely trying to understand what the fuck the other person is talking about. And so I just kept clarifying and he kept asking as well and so on. I just kept going back and forth. And again, the conversation itself didn't go fucking anywhere, but it was nice. I was having fun. It was getting really heated. He was getting mad. I was getting mad. In between, he like sent pictures of like he just took pictures of the fucking sky. I was like, look, the clouds, they look so beautiful. I'm sending this to you now because I'm really fucking mad to calm myself down. LMAO. Like just was just having a good time. And at the end of it, he was just like, "Yeah, I guess we wasted our time because we didn't really get anywhere." Because he was like, "I'm done. I'm sick of this. Like, sorry, I'm getting too heated. Let's stop the conversation." I'm like, "Sure, it's fine." But we didn't really get anywhere with this conversation. He was like, "Yeah, I guess we just wasted our time." I was like, "Well, you wasted your time. I was having fun. I'm not doing anything else. I'm having a good time." He was like, "Bro." And then like after that, because it was like in the public in the public text chat, someone was just like, "What the fuck did I just read?" And someone else was like, "Yeah, I don't know what happened here." And then like a day later, someone else was like, "This was actually interesting to listen to. You guys should make a podcast." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And the other guy was like, "Bruh, no, I'm not gonna make a podcast." Mostly because he was like worried that we were gonna get into trouble. Like I'm not sure why he's worried about that. Like on some level, I get the paranoia of like being edgy or whatever, making stupid jokes, and then getting into trouble. But it's like, who cares? Like, who even knows us? Like, we could literally like post this online, no one would give a shit. So, like, I suggested to him, this other guy suggested we do a podcast. I was like, yeah, sure. But he was like, nah, let's not do that. And so I didn't. Like, I always kinda wanted to do a podcast. Maybe that was why the other person suggested to me I should just do it alone here, just record my voice. Um, yeah, I mean, right now I'm just ranting at no one, and parts of it is kind of fun, but mostly it's just kind of like I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Like I was scared of doing it, but now I'm in the flow, and it's like whatever. I keep getting worried that I will end up repeating myself too much, stuttering and so on, and just wasting time, and it's going to be annoying and boring. But again, this is not the point, and no one's going to listen to this. If someone's listening to this, like, don't get the wrong idea. I'm glad that anyone is listening. It's not like I mind and I'm like, oh, I'm going to post this, but actually I don't want anyone to listen. It's just like, no, it's fine. If anyone listens, that's nice, but I just don't want to waste anyone's time. So it's like I feel kind of bad about it if you do. But if this is in any way enjoyable to have on in the background or whatever the fuck, then yeah, sure, why not? It's your life. Make your decisions. Um, yeah, so I'm doing this now alone, and don't really know what to say. I mean, I keep saying that I don't know what to say, and then I keep ranting for another 5 minutes about something. Is there anything else? Like, I'm gonna get to a point where where I like have exhausted all the thoughts on my mind because I don't really have a lot of new ones. Just repeating the same things ad nauseum for years and years. Um, which does make me wonder, like, on a scale, like how insane would I be? Because I don't think that I'm entirely sane in my mind. Like I don't think anyone is, but I'm probably a bit further gone than most people. I'm getting kind of dizzy from speaking so much, I think. I don't know if I'm just nervous. I mean, I don't feel that nervous, but I'm feeling lightheaded. Maybe I should open a window. Maybe there's not enough oxygen. I'm fucking ranting here. I don't want anyone to hear that. It's the middle of the night. No one's gonna hear this. They're not gonna understand any fucking English. I don't want to bother anyone though. I feel weird about it, so I'm gonna do it on purpose because I feel weird about it. Uh, just don't like uh, don't kill the cringe, kill the thing that cringes. There you go. I don't need to be embarrassed. Um, but now I'm feeling worried that I'm too loud and gonna bother people, but I don't care. I don't fucking care. Sometimes I'm talking on Discord, I'm still having my window open in the middle of the night. I'm just gonna need to try to not scream, I guess. I guess my laugh is gonna be the loudest thing. Yeah, oxygen. Oxygen is neat. Um, I was just about to like make a complete 180 and start talking about Pikmin because our oxygen poison is in Pikmin. Let's talk about video games or something, but I don't actually give a shit. I don't know what to talk about right now that I actually give a shit about. But it feels kind of weird to talk about general stuff like this, talking stuff that could be relevant to whoever the fuck might be listening, and then just randomly starting to talk about a specific fucking video game. So kind of don't really want to do that. But I don't really know. I guess I could talk about media in general again, what I like or something. I don't care. Uh, I can talk about how I like it. That's maybe a bit better, a bit more broad. With fucking video games, like in general, stuff that I like, anime, books, video games, video essays. That's basically it. In terms of stuff that I, on some level, like really can care about the most, it's probably books, and then maybe anime after that, and then video essays. It just kind of feels that way, which is stupid because what I actually enjoy the most is watching video essays. It's just rare that well, it's not that rare. Like that's also the thing. Like it's really fucking rare for me to like find a fucking book that I actually like. It's even more rare to find a fucking anime that I like. I don't like manga at all. I don't really care about games. I play them more to have something to do. Not that I don't have preferences, but it's just like, yeah, whatever. And then there's fucking video essays where it's just like, I think the only reason I like them is because I don't like shit. Because, like I said, I keep getting jealous about stuff, and part of that is because I keep watching fucking video essays of people talking about what pieces of media they like and how they feel about them and why they like them and how they make them feel things and make them happy and all that stuff. And I'm just like, dude, you fucking. I want to feel things. I want to be happy and so on. Like I don't feel that when people go like, "Ooh, I did like the fucking I don't fucking know what normies do." Fucking went for a hike, went for a vacation. I just got money. I just lost weight. I just did the. I don't fucking know what people care about. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about any of that. Like they can do their thing, sure. It's nice for them when things are nice for them, but I don't care. But when someone has like a piece of media and they like it and they get to enjoy it and so on, like that makes me really jealous. That makes me mad. Not that I wouldn't want them to get to enjoy that, but it still makes me upset. It makes me upset that they're happy and I'm not. Just really spiteful. Um, but yeah, with video essays, it's like when someone talks about why they like what they like and they explain it in a way that I can understand, then I, on some small level, get to feel those things as well. And then they're happy, I get to be happy. They're sad, I get to be sad. I get to feel things. That's nice. I like that. I like feeling things. I don't like feeling embarrassed or whatever. That's stupid. That's annoying. I'm feeling the most embarrassed about being embarrassed generally. um, but feeling things in general, more often than not, is pretty nice. I also don't like getting mad. Getting mad makes me mad. Um, but in terms of like the full video essay thing, I can actually like find stuff that I like there. It takes forever. I have to watch a bunch of stuff, but it's actually not that hard to find something that's kind of enjoyable. So I do it more often. Although I also can't really recall when I when I last watched the fucking video essay that I really liked. Um, I think the last time I found a book I really liked, I just did nothing but read that for like 2 months, like at least 3 or 4 hours every day, probably closer to six. And I just read all of it. Thankfully, I had like, I don't know, 20 fucking volumes. I don't remember how many. 12 volumes, but each of them had like 800 pages or something. So that was good. Um, so I read all of that. Uh, and I didn't really do much else that, so I didn't watch as many videos. Um, but I think even before that, I hadn't really been watching that many video essays. I don't remember when was the last time I watched one for the first time that I really liked. Recently, I've been more like rewatching stuff, which is also annoying. But it's also kind of nice with video essays because like I fucking hate rereading or rewatching anything. It's just fucking obnoxious. But with a video essay I really like, I'll watch them like 5 times. I'll watch them like 2 times, 3 times in the same week. I don't care. Eventually, like each time it will be less enjoyable. I don't know if there ever was one that I enjoyed more on the second or third viewing. I might enjoy them more, not more, but in a different way. When I can like think more about the structure and stuff like that, and oh, this is something general about video essays, and if I would ever do something like this, I can keep that in mind. I don't know if I ever will do something like that because I don't really have any thoughts on that level that I could share. I'm just like right now I'm ranting about random stuff. So obviously I'm a human being. I have thoughts. I can share them on some level. But making video essays like the type that I like to watch where people are like, oh, I really care about this thing, or oh, even I really hate this thing. Like I have strong feeling about this thing one way or the other. And then they talk about that and explain themselves and so on. Like I could do that in a general thing, in a general way where I like explain in general what I like about this or that type of media, kind of like I'm doing right now with video essays. I could do that, but then at the same time, I would kind of feel afraid because it's like you can only do it once. Like unless your opinion completely changes, you can't do that again. Otherwise, you're just repeating yourself. I would much rather like talk about an individual piece of media, but like even with the stuff I like, I don't really have many thoughts on it. It's like that's another thing that I don't get about humanity and people and stuff, and it makes me kind of jealous and mad, but more just confused. Like, why the fuck do people like things? It's like why do you care about stuff? Like it's not that I don't care about like I said about video essays, about some books and so on. It's not like I don't care. It's just this like people talk about, ooh, there's like stuff that you really care about and enjoy, and then there's stuff that's just, mindless escapism and stuff. And it's like there's more. There's more than just like escapism. Like everything I watch, everything I consume. It's like if I enjoy it, it's because of escapism. I watch video essays because it makes me feel like I actually enjoy stuff. I can pretend that is other media that I enjoy, and then if I actually find other media I enjoy, then I enjoy it for like more escapist reason. Like I read fucking anime, isekai bullshit books, that kind of thing in general with just overpowered main characters doing bullshit. And it's just kind of fun. That's just nice. I enjoyed it. I mostly just care as long as, in general, in any story or whatever, as long as there's one of the main characters that's like just fun to be around, I will pretty much read anything. At least I say that. I don't know if that's actually true because slice of life stuff, for example, like I like slice of life elements, just people dicking around, just dumb bullshit like that. I enjoy that a lot, but most slice of life stuff is just kind of annoying and boring. So I guess I need to have fantasy bullshit, magic, some kind of superpower bullshit in there for some reason, and then it works for me. But otherwise, I just don't care. But at the same time, it's like as long as like those two things, I think there's some kind of bullshit magic or anything like that, and then also there's at least one main character that I actually like, and then that's good enough. Then I will just fucking read anything. Doesn't matter. And like I don't know. It's just like it's just kind of enjoyable. It's just kind of like getting lost in it, escapism and so on. I don't understand what people are saying in terms of like what else is there to media in general. Um, I don't get it. I don't really have anything to say because I'm just confused. I just don't get it. I just don't get other people. And like that's one of those things that no one really explains ever because it's like I guess it's just obvious to everyone else. Well, not literally everyone in the world, obviously, but just obvious to most people, I guess. It's like, for example, I fucking hate. Well, fucking hate is it's like one of the things that I actively hate on some level. The anime Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is like the thing where it's like everyone loves this one. That's like it doesn't matter who you ask if they have seen it, they're gonna enjoy it a whole lot. It's gonna be probably well. not necessarily on their favorites, but I'll probably give it at least like an 8 or something. They're gonna think of it as like, oh yeah, that's a great story. This is fucking great. I just find the main character really obnoxious. And other than that, like it's not even that's the reason I dislike it. It's just there's nothing about it that I like pretty much. There are like one or two side characters that I do like, but they don't appear very often and so on. So it's not enough for me to watch the fucking thing. Like normally I drop stuff if I don't like it after an episode or two. I watched like 8 episodes of that and then just couldn't fucking handle it anymore. And the only reason I watched it much is because I was like, dude, this is like fucking Fullmetal Alchemist. Like everyone loves this. Obviously, I'm gonna love this, right? And for years and years, I had thought, oh, at some point I'm gonna watch this and it's gonna be great. And I fucking watched it, and it's like, it's not even, oh, it wasn't as great as I thought. I just didn't like it at all. And it's like, no one really explains why they like it. Like, I've watched a few videos where people go into it, but they were just kind of confusing because people just, I don't know, maybe I just didn't watch the right videos. Maybe it was just made by people who don't really make video essays in the way that I like, where they actually explain things. Actually, not just like rant, oh, then this happens, then that happens, and so on, but they actually explain like why the things that like happen make them feel things and what they make them feel and why they make them feel that way. Like I don't think anyone ever, or at least I don't think I've ever seen a video where someone did that for Fullmetal Alchemist in a way where I could really understand it. Um, the closest was, I think it was a Load video, I don't remember. But he made a video where he talked about it, I think in terms of, oh, morality, humanity, or some stuff like that. That was just like, that probably just made me mad because because I don't like this whole thing of this whole like morality and justice thing. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. It's just like, just, I don't know, it's just, shut the fuck up. Like it's all subjective and so on, and I don't give a shit. Like believe what you want to believe. I don't care. I don't want to get into this right now because this is just annoying. This is just like just like a topic that really bothers me, and I'm noticing that my fucking lisp and I'm just slurring all my words and something else. Yeah, it's getting worse and worse. In general, I do that a lot, but I'm also starting to keep to speak much faster. I probably shouldn't. I don't know if having the window open makes me nervous because I'm worried that I'm being too loud, so I'll close it now. Okay, maybe this helps. Maybe something about what I just talked about, this whole thing bothered me, and I just felt the need to speak quicker to get it over with quicker. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't like things, and I want people to explain why they like things, so so that I can feel things. I like to feel things. Feeling things is nice. I like to be in pain. Happy feelings are nice too. I like them both. I just don't like embarrassment and cringe and anger and stuff. I don't like those. But being happy or sad, those are nice. I don't know. I don't know, dude. I don't know what to say. I've been recording for almost 40 minutes. Technically, that's probably enough, right? Maybe I should even just upload this as is. Like, I don't know how long I want this to be. Like in my mind, it's like, oh, if you make something, it should be at least an hour, right? At least an hour, maybe like 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours. But who the fuck is gonna listen to this in the first place? So I think it's actually better if I just finish this right now and just fucking upload it. And then I'm just gonna send it to the person that asked me to record this in the first place, and I'm gonna torment her and just tell her, you made me do this. Now you have to listen to all of my fucking ramblings. Have fun. I mean, she doesn't have to. I don't care. I'm just saying this. Maybe she's listening right now, and fuck you for no particular reason. Just because you're listening right now, you can go fuck yourself. Oh boy. Yeah. Thanks for listening, I guess. I just put the first 3 or 4 parts. Like I recorded a minute or two, a few parts. This recording was like 41 minutes now. I'm just gonna put all of this together and then just put a few images there to just differentiate the cuts when I stopped talking and I recorded again a week later or something. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna render it and upload it to YouTube like this. Yeah. Thanks for listening to this stupid dumbass fucking podcast. Bye.